It had been a day of packing up. Katie discovered that even though it's sunny, when you go camping, you need rain boots. Orbie found out that there are no lights in the woods, so you need to bring a flashlight. And they both learned that there would be no automatic dishwasher on the trip. They drove for a long time until they came to a beautiful big lake. Dad turned down a road and there were several parked cars. He told the family that this was where the cars stopped. The rest was on foot. Everybody put their packs on and helped carry something. They walked along a path, and just about the time that Katie thought she couldn't carry her sleeping bag any further, Dad darted in between two trees. Mom followed, and Katie and Orbie raced behind them. "We're here," Dad said. He dumped his armload on the ground. "We're sleeping in Nature's house tonight." There were trees overhead and a lake. There was a beach and a big circle of rocks. Orbie asked where the beds were. Dad told him that they would be sleeping on the ground. This surprised Orbie because the ground was made of earth, not grass. Dad flipped down a big bundle he had carried on his shoulders and explained as he undid it, "We're not going to sleep on the earth, we're going to sleep in a tent." Dad spread the tent out and Mom gave him a hand. As Dad pulled and stretched the tent, he told Orbie that this would be their home away from home. Dad hammered some pegs into the ground. They held the tent in position. Then he put a pole in the middle of the tent, and it was standing. Katie and Orbie were very impressed. He asked them if they wanted to inspect their new home. They both walked in and stood right up. Dad had to bend a little bit. He told Orbie to put his sleeping bag down and roll it out on the floor. Katie did the same thing, and so did Mom and Dad. With the packs and the sleeping bags, there was almost no room left to put other things. Dad explained that not much other stuff was to come in. Katie wondered about the food and the cooking things. And Dad told her that when you're camping, all that happened outside. Katie and Orbie loved picnics, so this sounded great. Dad told them that now it was time for the fun to begin. First, they went swimming in the lake. As soon as Orbie put his little pink toe in the water, a big fish came over and nibbled on it. Orbie leapt out of the water. It hadn't hurt, it just tickled, but it surprised him. Katie giggled. They splashed and played in the lake, and even the fish played with them. Then when they were changed, they went on a nature walk in the woods. Dad showed them a tree that was growing a big mushroom on it. He showed them that pine needles fall and make a carpet that turns into earth. And he showed them where to find wild raspberries. The raspberries were starting to make everybody hungry, so Mom thought it must be supper time. She started to work near the circle of rocks. Dad told the two friends that they had a part to play in getting supper ready. Katie couldn't see a table to set. Dad told them they were going to be hunters. They would hunt for small sticks to start the fire with. Right away, Orbie told Dad that fires were dangerous. Dad explained that they certainly were, but that out on the beach it was quite safe. At first, Katie couldn't see any sticks, neither could Orbie. But Dad asked them to look more closely, and then all of a sudden they could see quite a few that the trees were all finished with. When they came back to the campsite, Dad explained that the circle of rocks held the fire in. He made a teepee shape with the sticks they'd gathered. He added some dry leaves and small twigs and lit it with a match. At first, a little flame flickered, and then it grew. When the small branches caught fire, everybody clapped for Dad. He put some bigger logs on to keep it burning. Mom put some foil-wrapped carrots and potatoes near the edge of the fire. Then she brought over a grill that held the meat inside it. When it was time, she placed it on the fire and turned it over a lot. Dad found 4 rocks for them to sit on, and he told Katie and Orbie that their laps were the table. Each person in the family had a little metal bowl with a knife and fork and spoon. When it was ready, Mom served up supper, and Katie thought that maybe it was the best supper they had ever had. After supper, Dad found some sticks that were long and thin. On the end of each stick, he put a marshmallow. Everybody held theirs over the fire until the marshmallows got toasty brown. And then as soon as they cooled, they ate them. Orbie thought that they were the best dessert they'd ever had. For a treat, when everybody was in their pajamas, they all sat around the campfire and sang songs. Mom and Dad knew a few silly ones, and by the end of the evening, so did Katie and Orbie. When it was time for bed, Dad carried a bucket of water from the lake and flooded the embers of the fire so that it wouldn't keep burning all night. Dad told Katie and Orbie it was their responsibility to the trees and all the plants and animals that live in nature to put the fire out. When the fire was out, it was very dark. Katie and Orbie stuck close to Mom. Dad hung the bag full of food up in the tree. He told the friends that it was so no animals thought it was a help-yourself restaurant. Orbie burbled, "What animals?" Dad told him that the forest belongs to nature. They would be sleeping near all kinds of animals tonight. In the tent, they zipped up the zipper and settled down for a cozy night. Orbie thought he heard a bear snoring, but it was only Dad. They all slept through the night, but I have to tell you that in the dark outside the tent, all kinds of visitors came to see who was using their forest. They were glad to see that Katie and Orbie were enjoying their nature house. Katie and Orbie loved sharing the trees and the lake with all the little animals that lived there. And I hope that one day you'll get a chance to sleep without a bed, cook without a stove, and toast marshmallows over a campfire. Maybe you'll even learn a few very silly songs.
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know?
There are many mountains on the moon. Most of the moon mountains have the same names as Earth mountains. I wonder if there is a Mount Rushmore on the moon.